It's going to be a special episode because I'm joined with all of our music work mentors. What does full-time look like?
It's an incredible amount of work.
It's taken me years to find the balance.
So it was really important for me to kind of design my lifestyle with my business supporting that.
Get into more of the creative side, creating incredible experiences for clients, and a lot of that has to do with taking their requests and song requests.
I have also found that as you practice that muscle, your brain's going to do a lot of work for you off hours.
Like for my side of it all, I have two things that I always keep in mind when I need to learn a song. Gone into weddings sometimes where I'm like, please, like just please.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Music Work Backstage. Today we're going to go behind the scenes with some really awesome music pros. It's going to be a special episode because I'm joined with all of our music work mentors. So thank you so much, everyone, for hopping on the call today. There's going to be so many gold nuggets in this conversation, I know. So some real quick intros just so we all know who's here. We got Tyler Varnell hailing from Los Angeles, saxophone DJ pro. We got Grant Swift from New York, looping artist. Rich, leader of the Ever After Band from New Jersey, and Mike Medved from Pittsburgh, singer, DJ. So there we go. That's our team. Let's dive in, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Today, we're just going to go over some cool conversations that have been going on inside of the community and get your guys' take on it. So let's dive right in. So our first question here is coming from our friend Nick, and he's curious about the daily activities of you full-time pros. So other than Mike, who's full-time times two, we have everyone in here is a full-time musician. Well, we all are. And it's kind of a little bit hairy of how we separate our time throughout our day. I know it's the challenge. So how do you guys approach it? What does full-time look like for you? Where does your activities get bucketed? How do you approach that?
It's an incredible amount of work. It's a lot of administrative work. I don't know about you guys, but my inbox is just constantly, it's like, how many emails can people possibly send? So it's a lot of emails, people reaching out, interested in booking, the whole booking process. You have people who do initial inquiries, people are going back and forth with, people are sending proposals to, scheduling calls with, doing those sales calls. And then people who are booked, we're getting them asking us questions about, can you do this song? What is this going to look like? Planners are asking us different questions leading up to the day. So there's all the planning that goes up to the different events. And there's just all of the small business stuff. We are in the middle of tax season right now. We see all of our taxes. A lot of us pay other people, so we have to get all those 1099s, send those out to people, track all of our expenses, insurance, everything that every small business has to do. Then social media, getting those videos and stuff out. There's pretty much endless things, I would say. I always struggle with, feeling like I've done enough to put things away for the day and hang out with my family and disconnect. Because it feels like, there's always that one or 17 more things I could have done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some quick thoughts.
Tyler used the word endless. And I think for myself, it's like parsing out the day has always been a huge struggle for me, because I probably speak for most of us when I say most of us are probably overachievers to a large degree. So it's like, if it was up to me, I could work on my own business from the moment I wake up to the moment I fall asleep. I could just do that. So it was really important for me to kind of design my lifestyle the way I want my lifestyle to look, with my business supporting that. And that took me years to kind of get to. So I would just work till I burned out and passed out. So now I kind of try to work toward that anti-hustle lifestyle, where I have non-negotiables in my life, which are my family, some free time, health, my pet, things like that. And I try to design my day based around what I want that anti-hustle lifestyle to feel like. So I'll try to do simple tasks early on. I know they kind of say, eat the frog first, but I like to ease into my morning. So I'll do scheduled client follow-ups first, and then kind of toward the middle of my day when I have my most energy, I kind of work toward the chunks of emails that I have to kind of chop down and fell that tree little by little, and then sort of taper off toward the end of the day with my own free time, which is like rehearsing, practicing my instrument, and spending time with my family and things like that.
Yeah, I have a hard time. Both of you touched on all of it. I mean, I very much relate to the feeling of never having enough time. I find that if I take a couple days off of admin, my inbox is an absolute mess. I mean, it goes from being like, 5 to 10 emails that I can kind of know what I'm doing with, even if I haven't fully answered them or deleted them or archived them, to like then 2 days later, I've got like 120 emails. It's just impossible to manage. Rich and I maybe just like, I wish I had more of your attitude, man, because for me, eating the frog is the admin work, like the getting back to people. And so I do try to, like you, I try to knock that out first thing, but it's like, that is the part that it's both the part that I can get completely lost in and spend way too many hours on, and also the part that I kind of dread the most. And so I do try to, my goal, I would wager I'm worse than everyone else here at actually dividing up my time in a kind of logical and consistent way. I tend to kind of fly by the seat of my pants, and even when I'm setting timers for myself, I'm going to say over 50% of the time I just ignore the timer once it goes off and make myself do a little more work. But ideally at least 90 minutes of admin every morning, and then trying to find the time to later in the day do some practice. Or right before we jump on this call, I was editing some videos for some video content to get new videos out there. So similar to Rich, I think I try to put that into the latter half of the day, but I definitely am not someone to emulate when it comes to like the consistency of the schedule. I'm still always working on that.
Yeah, it sounds like we have a lot of common threads here, because I also tackle my admin and my emails first, whether that be communicating with venues or planners or new leads or following up with current clients. I like to get those emails out in the morning, because I will circle back either at the end of the day or in the evening after the kids are in bed and see if those replies came in. And then if I need to do another reply, I love to like sandwich emails with my reply. So like, I hit it first, and then if I get a reply, then I can hit it again. And I feel like that almost helps propel the communication and cuts down on the length of time that communication needs to reserve space in my mind for. If I'm communicating twice in a single day, that really helps me. I also save like the things I enjoy the most for later in the day when I'm tired from the admin work, because the admin work kind of grinds me down a little bit. It's a lot of thinking and moving parts and pieces, but I love being creative, whether that's, mixing audio from a live recording. I do all live recordings of the first dances that I play for couples, or, ceremony songs. So when I'm just a bit fried from doing a lot of admin, I love digging into like a mix session and tweaking like the little nuanced part of the reverb and getting really into the details of that. I found it's taken me years to find the balance, but I found that I can do a mix session when I'm tired from admin work. I cannot do admin work if I start my day by being creative and mixing. I can't follow that up with admin. So
yeah,
interesting. Yeah,
that's interesting you say that. If I'm really tired, I try not to work in the evening, but sometimes I need to. And yeah, same thing. Like, especially having kids, it'll go from like, all right, I'm grinding all day, and then at 5, all right, I'm off, and then I literally walk out this door and I'm right into Daddy Wop. And it's really fun, but it's also, it's right at the, okay, we got to eat, we got to get kids in bed. A lot of times Courtney's working at the hospital. And so I'm like, relieve our nanny, and then I'm just full dad. I got to get all 3 kids fed and in bed over the course of like 2.5 hours. So it's like great and really fun. And also I'm spent, at 7:38 once everyone's finally in bed. So yeah, it's really hard to think through like those more complicated things. And so I'll just do like playlisting, and I'll start going through music, and like a couple sent me like, hey, here's our 100-song playlist of everything we want during our big day. I can start going through that. I'm like, all right, this is ceremony, this is cocktail, okay, this is dancing, this is probably later in dancing, and I'll start making folders, because that's fun and easy and just flows. So similar to you, Mike.
It's interesting how we all kind of have like our own perspective on how admin work, whether for me personally, like admin it's not my favorite part of it, but it's almost like I've tried to get myself to a point where like 70% of it is as automated as I can get it, so that it's not sucking up that opening up more tabs in my brain, because I definitely can carry that with me through the day. So it's like, okay, this is a planning email, this is a this email, and I have like little templates that I can send out at least to get my momentum going, and then that's off the plate for at least the next 6 hours.
That's so good. I love how you guys like find what works for you. Like this is a task that makes sense for me in the morning. This is a task that makes sense for me when I'm tired, and just like learning what works for your workflow and finding that separation. And I totally resonate with you, what you said, Grant, too, is like, we have these expectations of like just saying, I'll do my email inbox. Like, what does that mean? Like, well, there could be so many contingencies in one email and that like, oh, and I have to create a whole project in order to answer that email. You know what I mean? So it's so hard to like find those boundaries, and tasks always expand. So I think like having boundaries of times of day, and even for myself, like it's funny, but I think when we work at home, it's like, again, like you're totally absorbed in it. You could always get back to that email. When I play music, it's like end of day, it's like dance in the kitchen time. It's like, okay, I'm done. I try to make that my thing. Just ways to create new environments. But yeah, such good ideas here. Thanks for sharing, everyone. But to get into more of the creative side, because of course why we're doing this is for the music, and what so many of you guys are doing is creating these, well, what we're all doing is creating incredible experiences for clients. And a lot of that has to do with taking their requests and song requests. So I just uploaded another question from the community into the chat if you want to check it out. But this one's from Ellie, and her question was just, what's your approach to learning new songs? How do you fit this into your schedule? And you guys have like a method down? I know it depends, like I'm sure it's different based off of your guys' different instrumentation and such, but yeah, I would love to hear if anyone has any tips there.
I'll jump right in and say that, yeah, because we were kind of talking about this right before we went live, but that's one thing that I think is really helpful about just practicing some ear training and getting good at understanding chord progressions is I found that over the last couple years, I think I can kind of learn a song just by listening to it. Like a lot of times, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll hear what the chord changes are. I'll kind of have a sense of the structure. I'll be kind of like humming the melody in my mind. And then I've also noticed, especially when I got booked for a little like surprise singing telegram kind of gig a few weeks ago, and this guy had this very obscure song that he wanted to hear, in addition to a couple others. And he was, at first I was just going to tell him like, no, sorry, we don't have time, because it was like, it was like 24, 36 hours before the thing, and I was so busy, and I was like, I want to tell him no, but let me take a listen to the song. The song was really simple, and it was like I pretty much knew the chord progression and everything just with one listen through, and the melody was like really memorable and similar throughout. There wasn't like any crazy bridge or anything. I was like, I think I can kind of just do this. I kind of figured out the little riff thing and practiced it like a few times on my guitar before I left for the gig. It went off without a hitch. it was good, and he was really, really pleased. Like he was so happy. So I think whereas if that was like me like 5 years ago, I think I would have just like toiled over like, okay, can I actually have time to learn this? And then once I finally sat down, I would have been trying to figure out exactly what position he's playing the chords in. Is there a capo? Is there like, oh, like how do I, let me really practice this part. Like it's a lot of it's just getting better and getting used to those things. And then the other thing I was going to say is that I have also found that as you practice that muscle, your brain's going to do a lot of work for you off hours. Like I will go to bed. I'll listen to that song before I go to bed if I need to learn something. And I will like literally have to wake up with a better sense of the song. Like things percolate and
Totally.
and I can like, I'll just find like, if I know I have to learn a song, I can listen to it a few times and it's in my head. Like 3 days later, I'm like going to the grocery store and it's bouncing around in there. And like, you're kind of doing work on it while you're actually just going about your life. So that's a really handy tool.
Yeah. I have 2 tips for this actually. For me, especially, if I'm going in with a 10 or 12 piece band, there's so many moving parts to making sure everybody has done their homework. For me, like for my side of it all, I have 2 things that I always keep in mind when I need to learn a song. Number 1 is before learning the notes of the song, I have to learn the spirit of the song, because there are times where I will try to learn a song that I'm just not into. I just don't enjoy the song. I don't respect the artist, whatever it might be, like, oh, this song stinks, and it's just such a slog. If I sit there and try to learn the notes of that song, it will take me hours. But if I just listen to it like a fan and I go, this is a really cool song. Oh, I like what's happening in the verse. I like how this lifts to the bridge. That song just clicks. Like it's like a hack to my brain. And I actually learned the song by ear that way. Secondly, if you have the ability to do so, it does help to have some sheets. If you can maybe design a lead sheet or find a piece of sheet music that might be easier to read. You may not be able to like sight read it, but for myself, having the visual sheet music in front of me does kind of help me learn things really quickly, even if I have to make it myself.
And to build upon Grant and Rich there, like, listening is so key to get started, stepping into the spirit. I couldn't agree more. And then for me, I need to know, what is the goal of this song in the moment in which it will be performed? Because music can be played in a variety of different ranges. Some ranges elicit more power, some ranges elicit more intimacy. And so before I even start learning the song, I want to know, what is the outcome I'm trying to achieve when I play this song? Because then that helps me to learn, do I need to learn this song in a powerful vocal range, which will inspire the musical notes I'm playing on guitar or piano? Or is this like a sweet, 40-person micro wedding, and this is their live first dance, and it's all candlelit, then I'm singing it and playing it maybe in a lower vocal range, a little bit more breathy. And so I think really getting in touch with the finished product and the goal and the end game for the song in the moment in which it will be performed really helps inspire the style in which you learn the song and the method by which you learn the song.
Yeah, gosh. I feel like you guys have said everything. I especially related to Grant's, where like, yeah, if I can just have it circulating in my mind, that does so much work. Yeah, that's a good idea right before bedtime too. I haven't done that yet, but just to add two things, when I get the songs from the client, I'll make a playlist of like, all right, this is what I'm listening to this month. Like I literally just have a playlist on Spotify that says March Quick. These are things I gotta learn quick. And so yeah, I'll be listening to those. And same thing. Yeah, sometimes it's hard if they want more of like a classical song or a song that doesn't have lyrics. There's one I'm working on right now where it's like a soundtrack song, and so I don't have words to like remember certain parts, because normally you can remember the words and that helps you with the melody of like, oh, it's this is the sentence they're saying. Okay, that's kind of, you can hear it as you're, even if you're playing it instrumentally. For sometimes what I'll do for this, and kind of my tip number 2 is what Rich and Mike were saying, is like figure out the context and like the meaning behind the song. And so sometimes I'll go and try to figure out like, all right, what movies were this in, or like where did they find this? Like someone requested Livy and Rose recently, and they're like, we saw this in the movie WALL-E, and that's why we like it. So I went and found that scene, and I watched this scene like 3 times, and that just helps me give some things visually to attach to, but it also gives me kind of more like juice when I'm performing it, because I kind of know like, hey, like this was the emotion behind it, and I can bring that out more as I'm kind of expressing that. So yeah, have your Spotify quick playlist, and just every time I'm driving in the car and I'm like, oh, I still got to get those down. They're right there. I don't have to remember what they were. I got them sitting there. And then yeah, watching the YouTube videos is kind of helpful too.
I love that. That's great. I have one more thing to share as well. And I think it also goes with the kind of like why over what mentality when you approach a song. But for me, it's like if I have a particularly challenging piece that I have to learn, I kind of force myself, like baptism under fire kind of situation, because I've learned in the past that I will toil over a first dance song that I have to perform. And I'm like I have gone into weddings sometimes where I'm like, please, like just please,
Sure.
and then I will do it. And that song is locked into my bones for the rest of my life. It's like I can call upon that song forever. So I've just found that like when I practice a song that's particularly challenging, I will practice it a little bit. I'll do the listening thing. I will do the why over what, and then I will sit down and give myself one chance to get it as good as I can possibly get it. I'll imagine myself in the scenario saying, okay, well, if this is the walk down the aisle right now, how would I perform that song? And if it's imperfect, that's okay. But at least I know going in, I've already performed it once before. So this second time was almost like a redo, and there's a little less pressure associated.
Yeah, I love that. I'll do the same thing for ceremonies where I'll try to visualize, okay, they wanted me to transition at a certain point, like when the flower girl comes out, and then what does that feel like? And maybe I'll play something higher register that's a little more delicate, a little more like sensitive. And then she gets up to the front and I blah, 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 blah. And then, okay, the bride's about to come out. What does this feel like? And yeah, visualizing yourself in that moment, in that space, that's great too. I love that.
I love how mental Rich's approach is here. I really love the thing about the spirit of the song too, because I struggle with that whenever the song I don't like. Like, yeah, if somebody gives me a song I just don't like, I'm like, and you're totally right. If you try to approach it technically, you're just going to drive your head into a wall. Like, it's like if you're trying to learn these notes, I'm just like this melody's so stupid. I don't know.
100%.
I'm just like getting pissed as I'm trying to play it. Whereas if I really try to think about the person who loves the song, and I try to think about like the dynamics and like the way in which, like, okay, this is bringing us to this part, and it's really helpful, like Tyler said, to have, like, if you have a visual or if you know why that person loves the song, right, you can like attach that. I love talking to clients about their favorite songs, even if that's not even what, like, I've had people say, like, for my wedding, I want this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, do you listen to that kind of music? And they'll be like, well, not really. I'm like, oh, so what do you like? And they're like, well, I like this, but I don't really want to play that at the wedding. But I still want to know what they like, because I want to have like a sense of how are they approaching this? What is like, what's in their subconscious that's bouncing around?
Totally. I actually say to my band, figure out why this song became a hit in the first place. Once you've done that, you can now become a fan. Like, my wife didn't grow up. She's a 90s girl. Her family was more of a classic rock family. Like, she didn't grow up with any real like funk or disco per se. So whenever she has to learn like a 70s disco song that might have been requested by someone's mom or dad, she struggles big time because the music is not ingrained in her. So I find, like, with myself, like, I didn't really grow up listening to country music per se. So when I'm like trying to learn a country song, sometimes my brain just like blocks it, and it's just like, it's not natural for me. So I'm like, all right, well, why is this song a popular first dance song? Like, what is it about this song that made it a hit? And I'm like, oh, it's the intimacy. It's this really nice, delicate melody. It's the way it moves. And now I'm a fan of the music, and I can just pull all those blocks out of my own. I can get out of my own way.
This is so cool. I feel like we're piecing all the things together. That's really cool.
Hey, real quick, if you're a musician who loves performing and loves creating incredible experiences for people at live events, then why not join us in the free Music Work community on School? It's a safe space for like-minded people with an active forum of hundreds of members from all over the world where you can connect, hang out, learn, and share. There's also a classroom where you can learn how to get booked for higher-end private events, a members map, and event page. There's no algorithms, no ads, just real musicians looking to grow together. And right now, when you join, you can also get a free standard profile on musicwork.com to help you connect with clients for private events and promote your public shows. To join, you can scan the QR code on the screen or simply click the link below in the description. See you there. The next one's from Jared, and it's about selecting repertoire. So maybe sort of similar, but perhaps like when it's your own angle on it. Like, how do you guys go about selecting repertoire? Maybe it's different for you, Rich, with a band. Do you guys have a certain thing that you're looking for, or a way to know how to rehearse it? Or what's your approach to that? What you guys like? What's top 40s? What your requests you're getting?
Yeah, for me, with the band, for me anyway, like, I kind of came from a world where I was working with like agency bands and leading agency bands. And with them, like, the motto was just like, if it's new and it's hot, you have to learn it. That's just it. I found that when I broke off and started leading my own band, that wasn't always it. It was more like, if it's new and it's hot and it's a resonant kind of a song, like, does it have staying power? Like right now, for example, like, there's a song that by Olivia Dean, Man I Need, super popular, but it has like this like triplet, almost like Tears for Fears kind of a vibe to it. And you're like, I don't know if this is gonna work. So we're playing it in such a way where we're giving the song a lift, because the song itself seems to be really resonant with people. They want it at the weddings. And on calls with clients, they're like, we really love this song. I just don't know if it's going to like work. Is it going to like kill the room? Is it going to kill the floor? And like, well, for me with a band anyway, I'm like, we can kind of give it something different. So to make sure that it does kind of fit in well. So like with our repertoire, we have a little bit of flexibility because we can kind of alter the original state of a song to make it mean something for the couple.
Yeah, I would say for me, of course, there's plenty of lists you can be looking at, Billboard, Hot 100, different Spotify lists. If you're just starting out, I remember when I first started, I looked at other DJ companies and I would find their Spotify things, or I'd find on their website, like what songs we play. And I literally just went in and like saw their playlists or would make my own playlist based on, I would just Google like top most popular first dance songs, open dancing songs, cocktail hour songs, ceremony songs, and I just dove in and researched. And then I kind of made my own things, and then I figured out like, well, what can I play well? What can I do justice on saxophone, on piano as a DJ? And then it just comes down to taste. That's kind of the thing that is your taste. And so you learn from the client what their vision is, and then you are then the curator and you put it all together. And you can then use your library of songs and say, well, they said they like this, and they said like this, and they said like that. They will also like this, most likely. That's like 1 degree removed from their vision. I think this normally does great. And then you can kind of go. But I would say this is a great exercise in listening to your client, asking questions to your client and understanding what's important to them. Because I remember I was doing all the top 40, all the oldies, and I had a couple that sent me a playlist with a ton of stuff I didn't know. And it was all like EDM, festival, big electronic music. And I knew some. I knew like David Guetta, and I knew Avicii and Calvin Harris. And there's a ton of other stuff I didn't know. And I listened to it a lot. And this was maybe, I don't know, 6-7 years ago. And now like the EDM sax thing, the tropical house sax thing, that's like my calling card. That's like probably my favorite landing spot. And that all came through listening to them. And they're like, oh yeah, like we go to like we go to EDC and we go to big festivals. And so I was looking at videos of EDC and Tomorrowland and like, what is this all about? And it introduced me to that so long ago. And now that's like a huge part of my performance. But yeah, just listening and then figuring out like if there's a new song like Olivia Dean, like, all right, what's to do with Olivia Dean? Go look at some of her videos. I look at like the Grammys, things like that, and watch all those performances. Like I remember a few years ago, it was that movie with Bradley Cooper and
right.
What's her name?
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
A Star is Born.
Star is Born. Those songs were starting to be requested, and I remember I looked up to see like what's the deal, and I saw that performance of the two of them. I think it was at the Grammys, and that was such a like time standstill moment. You ingest like the power of that moment. Or like there's another one a couple of years ago where like Murder on the Dance Floor came back all of a sudden huge on the scene. Why is that? And so it was that movie Saltburn, the closing scene. You maybe don't need to look it up because it's a little inappropriate. But you learn like the cultural context of the song, right? Like why is this being requested? Why is this popular? What movie was this in? Those are some thoughts on kind of how I put together lists. And then if you can kind of see these people are into this kind of thing and they're using this kind of thing, and then that song that was in that big movie that they probably all saw, then it feels like you're all on the same wavelength and you can really bond and connect.
Yeah, man, you guys are dropping some serious wisdom. I approach song repertoire in one of two ways. It's really client driven on my end. So if the client has a lot of songs they're passionate about, I just step into that space with them. And since I'm a solo performer, I am able to kind of quickly learn, even just in a couple of weeks, like a song that a client might request. That is a challenge I've navigated over the years. Sometimes the songs are clunky. Sometimes the songs maybe don't serve the room in a way that I wish that they would. But at the end of the day, it's not about how I feel about the songs. It's how the couple feels about the songs and how their family feels about the songs. So I'm always happy to step into the land of song requests with my clients because it's their one wedding day and they should get what they want. At this point in my career, kind of as Tyler was speaking to, I've developed a brand voice in a way that a lot of the requests don't come too far outside of what I normally do anyway, because people have seen and heard and have been told about my strengths as a wedding musician and DJ. And so I find that there's not too many kind of against the grain requests that come in. But there's also clients who are not too passionate about song requests, and they are coming to you to just trust you to breathe life into the music of their wedding day. And in that situation, I really think about how a wedding day is multi-generational and how their grandparents might be there, or older aunts and uncles, older friends. And also, depending on their age, they might have younger nieces and nephews there. And certainly, their friends that are around their age. And so if I were to just kind of pick from nothing and start from scratch, I'm definitely including some classic hits from the 50s. I'm including some Motown. I'm including just those timeless classics. I'm even going to throw Whitney Houston in, and maybe on my face I don't have any business singing with, but hey, when I Got Nothing If I Don't Have You hits the set list, like the room stops a little bit. So and then I'm gonna pull in some of the more kind of mainstream country that isn't totally country, maybe some Chris Stapleton or something like that, maybe where he collaborates with Joy Oladokun in Bittersweet Symphony, a song like that. And then I'm just gonna hit those absolute just wedding home run songs that people are gonna love. And so I think multi-generationally across the decades and across genres too.
That's awesome. Okay, I just wanted to comment, Tyler. I love both questions so far. I heard you like really refer to the visual element of music. It's such a perfect way to envision what we do at events, because I always envision a wedding day as a film soundtrack, right? There's this emotional element. So like in terms of like crafting your repertoire for the night, I don't usually go into a wedding with a rigid set list. We have a very large repertoire by this point, so we call songs on the fly and we read the crowd, even though we're a live band. But even when doing that, much like yourself, I'm envisioning myself more like a music supervisor of a film, going, in this moment, which song can I pick to really support the emotion in this moment? If they want to tear the roof off the place, well, we've got to keep that going. We have to, let's do the Murder on the Dance Floor. Like let's hit them with these cultural moments where everyone just like, our goal is like, we want those big bomb drops where like they turn around and look at us and go, what? Like, what? You read my mind. So I love that visual element of it all.
That's a thrilling feeling when you have because that does happen where people come up to you and they're like, dude, you are like inside of all of our brains right now. And you're like, got you. And yeah, it's pretty thrilling. Yeah.
Rich, I love that your band can do that. And that's a testimony to the culture that you've created as a band leader, because that is unique to bands, especially to wedding bands. There are many wedding bands that have a large cast of musicians, and they'll just call in who's ever available on the date, and they operate under a brand. And when they do that, that set list has to be rigid. But because of what you've built over the years and the culture that you've curated there, you guys are able to move and operate as a unit with just all those songs in your back pocket. You can turn around to the crew, or do you use an MD mic, Rich? Do you speak to the guys in monitor?
Yeah,
so
I got to talk back on stage.
Yeah, you can hit the MD mic and talk to them in their ears and say, we're going here. And everybody probably gives you that side, like knowing look like, yes, sir, you are absolutely right. We're going there.
Totally.
I love that, man.
Totally. And sometimes they'll push back too, which is an interesting angle on this question. How do you craft the repertoire? You might step into a little bit of a pothole sometimes and you're like, oh, that didn't work. So for us, we pull the ripcord and we're like, all right, like if you feel the energy shift, I always say the room doesn't lie, right? So if you're playing stuff that's not really landing, you can't blame the audience. You kind of have to take accountability for that and go, okay, we're going to figure this out. So if we call a song, if I go on the talk back mic and I'm like, they're loving Backstreet Boys, let's go, let's go Spice Girls next. And we hit Spice Girls and it doesn't really hit. We don't get through that first verse, or I'll look at my drummer and go chorus, and we'll just hit a hook, get everyone singing along just to get them back, and then move out of it again. And then we figure it out from there. So the fluidity of like picking a repertoire, I think, is really important in what we do here.
Yeah. I'll do a similar thing DJing, where almost every song I have 2 mix out points where it's like, all right, if we're mixing out quick, minute and a half, we're right around here, versus like, hey, I'm seeing people coming on the dance floor for this song. All right, we're going to like 2.5, 3 minutes.
Yes.
That way you can always like get in or out. Yeah. Sooner or later if you need to.
That's so good. Yeah. So for all the young musicians out there, they're frantically taking notes. You guys left so much gold here. This one will be worth a rewatch. I think for feeling good, we can call that a wrap. I feel like with this topic, we were going to go some other places, but we can save for next time if you guys are cool, if you want to do it again sometime. This was absolutely incredible. But yeah, having that solid set list and having an approach to how you're approaching your time and learning music and making people happy with your music is it's the heart of everything. So really appreciate hearing you guys' heart for how you approach it. Such wisdom was shared here today. So thank you so much. Hopefully we'll do this again. So yeah, thanks so much, guys. We'll see you again.